Hello, hello. Hello to all my night owls out there in the US and to everyone else wherever you are in the world. I'm Laura Riley. Thanks for being with me tonight. I'm the CEO of Cloud Underground, and I'm really excited to be here because it's been a minute, for one, and part of the reason for that is just because there's just been a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and I want to talk about that today. We've made some huge, amazing updates to the Underground Nexus, and I'm just super excited to talk about some of those things that we've been working on. And in the past, I used to do this series. For those of you who have been around Cloud Underground for a while, I had a YouTube series for a minute called So Easy, Even a CEO Can Do It. As sort of like a non-technical founder, I felt that like it was kind of fun to, well, and honestly, it was a big way that I learned the Underground Nexus was just doing live streams where I'd basically go and like build an Underground Nexus and be like, oh, see, even I can do it. Even me, who's a non-technical person, can go and build an Underground Nexus. And it's funny because I had a recent conversation with my partner and co-founder Nato, who's also my spouse. So we've got a lot going on there, and he told me that part of the reason he made the Underground Nexus in the first place essentially was to help people like myself who were not super technical be able to do kind of astounding things with cloud technology and become engineers. Essentially, I don't necessarily like to call myself an engineer. He constantly tells me that I am, but I feel like I don't have any certs necessarily. But I do have a lot of knowledge and expertise, and I am super proud to say that I was also very integral in the engineering of the latest version of the Underground Nexus. There's a lot going on with the new version. It's essentially the Underground Nexus 2.0, which we are calling CodeHaven. The release name is CodeHaven for that, so we're really excited about some of the new changes that are coming to the Underground Nexus. I'm going to be talking about a lot of those things in some future live streams. One of the major changes is improvements to you can now essentially run virtual machines, and we have some good virtualization technology now that allows you to run virtual machines alongside containers in the Underground Nexus now. So that's a really exciting thing that we've been working on and introduced. So yeah, and the thing that we're going to talk about, so I think I'll be talking about that aspect of it more next week, but the main thing I want to talk about tonight is the new Underground Nexus Cerberus installer and Cerberus package manager. So yeah, I'm super excited. Let's just kind of get into it a little. I'm going to change my view here so you can see the screen a little more than you can see me. But yeah, it was so funny to me talking about how much the Underground Nexus has evolved, and also how much I've evolved as a founder and as somebody who has built some technical skills. I used to kind of like, if you go back and watch some of those like, oh, so easy CEO can do it videos, which are still on our YouTube channel, of course. There was a lot of me kind of muddling through things. I'd go through our GitHub and like follow all the instructions and build the things, and it always worked because it's super dependable and it just works. But that in a lot of ways was just how I learned to use the Underground Nexus in the first place, was just through live streaming and kind of poking my way through it, which honestly, I think that's the best way to learn just about anything. At least for me, I'm a very hands-on learner. So if you're a hands-on learner, I think the Underground Nexus can be a great way to kind of, evolve your skills. Especially if you already have some technical skills. I actually did have some technical skills. I say I'm a non-technical founder, but I did have a lot of experience doing some HTML coding. As a millennial, I've essentially been around, cloud technology my whole life, so it's nothing new or different. Not cloud technology necessarily, but around technology, the internet, interesting hardware. My brother was always into building computers, and so I've been around that kind of thing my whole life, and so I might be maybe slightly more technical than like the average person. And again, my career was very much focused on doing HTML, and I did a lot of internet stuff early in my career, but I was a writer, I was a copywriter and a journalist, and my degree is in English. So, of course, doing anything that's, coding seemed really like out of my league. But I think a lot of it is also just like pattern matching and being able to see and understand the patterns. And that, because coding is it's just a lot of that. That's essentially what coding is. And I also like puzzles, so I think it kind of came somewhat naturally to me, and kind of my learning style. But I think, again, anyone can use it, and it's honestly, it's just so simple. So let's just get into it a little bit, because I want to show that off. If you haven't been around the Underground Nexus or been around Cloud Underground much to begin with. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start in CloudJam. CloudJam is a new program. Well, we kind of revamped and redesigned our previous program, which was the RPG of Life. This is now CloudJam. So if you go to our website, there's a lot of different ways you can get to CloudJam. You can use this bar at the top. It's also on our homepage. Anyway, you can navigate there, and you can actually get it for free using this code JAMON2025. So if you add it to cart, and this stupid bar does not want to go away. Hide. Okay, there we go. So now it's in our cart. We can go to checkout. And if you put that code in, JAMON2025, it's going to zero out the cost. So it went from $97 to $0, so you can get it for free if you don't have the resources to pay for the program. And CloudJam is then, once you check out, you're gonna get information on how to create an account and go to the Cloud Underground Academy login page. So let's kind of head on over to that. Over here, I have it kind of pulled up and logged in. You'll also get access to our free DevSecOps Dojo archive course, which is this one in the middle here. So anyway, CloudJam, though, is what we're looking at today. So CloudJam is going to take us here. And, of course, the first module says, Start Higger, build your Underground Nexus. And that's what we're going to do. So a few prerequisites, system requirements we've got here. Of course, I'm going to be installing today on Windows. You can also, of course, install on Linux, Ubuntu. We kind of recommend using. It's honestly maybe the simplest way, but I'm going to show you today using Windows, because probably most people are using Windows. And we also have Apple Silicon, like ARM support, coming soon. That's something we've been working hard to get going. But for now, we're just going to install on Windows. So the first thing you're going to want to do, step one, download and install Docker Desktop. And I'm not going to lie, this is where a lot of people kind of get tripped up. Docker Desktop can be a little bit buggy, but I would say if you're having issues with it, like if you've installed it in the past and it wants you to like update things, I find usually the best way to do that is just like uninstall it and then just go to the Docker Desktop website and reinstall the new version. I think I might even have it bookmarked here because I do that so often. So yeah, here it is. You can go and download Docker Desktop from their website and install it. I already have it installed here. Lovely. Here's Docker Desktop. Again, it says here that it needs to be updated. I'm like, well, when I need to do that, I'm probably just going to uninstall it and reinstall it. But didn't want to do that before I did this live stream. All right, so that's step one. Probably the hardest step. Download and install Docker Desktop. Okay, once you have installed Docker Desktop, we're going to open a command prompt window. So I'm actually going to close out of that. So we'll get to it from fresh. If you are not super familiar using Windows, you can go and type command prompt in your start menu, and this is what you want. This is essentially a command line interface, a CLI. This is your Windows command line. Probably most of you know that, but if you don't, I am here to be your friend and tell you I didn't know that for a long time. Some of the earliest command line prompting I ever did was with the Underground Nexus. So I did it. You can do it too, I promise. It's okay. So then let's go to the next step. So the first thing you're going to run in your terminal once you have Docker Desktop installed is this command. So you're going to copy it. We're going to go to our command terminal, and Windows typically has this trick that if you just right click after you've copied in your command prompt terminal. It's just going to paste it for you. So you're going to go ahead and hit enter and run that command. It's going to take a few minutes. It's going to go through its little process, and it's going to install your Cerberus manager. Your Cerberus manager, and that's going to help you install your Underground Nexus. So I've already done this on this computer. So if you come into Docker, you will see the Cerberus manager. Once it has completed, again, it's going to go through a whole install process. It might take a few minutes depending on how powerful your host machine is. And then after a few minutes, you're going to get the Cerberus manager. So I'm also just going to real quick kind of check my live streams, make sure everything's looking okay. I think we're doing good here. If you're watching, feel free to drop a comment in the chats. I'm here with you. Thanks for watching. Yes, awesome. Okay. Anyway, looks like things are going well over there. And yes, okay. All right. So here we are. Our Cerberus manager. It's done. You've installed it. It's run its course. It's done its thing. It's happy. And then you'll have your Cerberus manager. So then we're going to go back to our next step. Oops, here in our Cloud Jam prereq module. And the next step is going to be to paste this command into our command prompt terminal. So copy this, go over to your terminal, paste it in, hit enter. And now you're going to notice we've moved. We're no longer in our C drive. We are now in root Cerberus manager. So this is where the fun starts. This is where we get to start doing the cool things. So now we have our package manager, our Underground Nexus installer installed on our host machine. And now we have 3 different modes of the Underground Nexus that we can deploy. Tonight we're going to deploy the dev mode. So of course we're a DevSecOps company. So there's a dev mode, a sec security mode, and an ops operations mode. So dev mode, which we're going to go through tonight, is essentially we're going to deploy a Nexus Creator Vault, which has a lot of fun tools, including a local private AI, Olama. We also so after you've done your dev mode, you can also launch a sec mode, which I think we're going to do next week. That's my plan for next week. My next live stream is to launch a sec Underground Nexus, which is the full beef Underground Nexus. And it also has the Cerberus package manager, which allows you to launch virtual machines. So that's pretty cool. We definitely like that and super useful. And then of course we have the ops mode. The ops deploys some like this says, an unactivated Underground Nexus that's ready to integrate with an Underground Nexus swarm or run on an Underground Nexus Creator Vault incompatibility mode. So of course, so that's the fun part. Dev, Sec, Ops. Which one do you want to deploy? Once you're in your Cerberus manager, all you have to do is type the one that you want. So today we're going to do dev. Oh, and it's all caps. Dev. So you type dev, you hit enter, and magically it's going to launch your, and actually this next step is going to take a few minutes. So you're going to type in dev, hit enter. Again, I've already done this, so I'm not going to go through the whole process here, but this is what you do on your host machine. Hit enter, and this is then going to build your Nexus Creator Vault. And then when you come to your container, once that's successfully completed building, you're going to see it in your Docker desktop interface here. So mine's running, it's been going, and we can go look at that on this machine now. Here, we'll close out of a couple of these other windows. This is not the most powerful machine that I'm using for this. So I try not to like totally overwhelm it with like a million tabs or like a million processes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to localhost 1050. And here we are. Here we are. So, this is super fun. This is the Nexus Creator Vault. And I'm actually going to like hop over to a more powerful machine because I also have it running in a different tab here on, I believe it's this one. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. This is another Nexus Creator Vault. So I love the Nexus Creator Vault. It's probably, I feel like it's maybe the iteration of the Underground Nexus that I've influenced the most. For a while, in the end of 2023, early 2024, a friend of mine and I created a podcast. I did all of my editing in the Underground Nexus. I did all of my, production, everything. I did it all in the Underground Nexus. And it's the beauty of it is, again, it's a persistent environment. So once you build it, it's just there. And so you can go and you can open up your tools. Again, this one might, I didn't do it all in this particular machine because this particular machine can be, it's not super, it's a good test. It's a good little test box, but it's not the most powerful. So of course you want to keep in mind, what you're using your Underground Nexus or your Nexus Creator Vault in this case for. And, yeah. So if you're doing some heavy video editing, you might want to be allocating some more resources. But anyway, I used K10 Live for all of that. So we had a Patreon, so you could go and pay and watch the video versions of the podcast. So I edited all the video versions in K10 Live using open source tools, which is awesome because then you don't have to pay licensing to like Adobe to keep using their tools forever and ever. You get locked into those vendor licensing traps where you kind of become dependent on, these enterprise companies that can, essentially change the prices at any time. So we like to allow people to get away from that as much as possible. You want to be able to host your own stuff, own your own assets. You're not putting it up in their cloud, which is, not necessarily the most secure place. You can have it in your own cloud that you build with the Underground Nexus and manage yourself. So anyway, that's, one of the things, again, yeah, I guess K10 didn't want to launch. But anyway, so we've got some cool tools in here. We have an image editor with GIMP is what this is. GNU Image Manipulation Program, GIMP. Inkscape is essentially like, I don't remember, honestly, all my Adobe image editors anymore because it's been so long since I've used them. But Inkscape is like, a vector graphics editor. GIMP is essentially like Photoshop, but it's an open source version. Blender, you can do 3D modeling in a Nexus Creator Vault. So there's some really cool tools. Again, there's some great like editing suite software as well for audio and video editing. You can do live streaming from your Nexus Creator Vault as well using an OBS Studio. Honestly, one of the things that I've been thinking about doing for myself personally is taking my current desktop and turning it into a Linux machine and just running the Nexus OS exclusively. I think it would be so good. I feel like it would run so well. I could do all the things that I do normally on my Windows machine, but using the Nexus OS. And again, it allows me to kind of break out of a lot of like the vendor lock-in and manage and host all my own stuff, which is always, for me, super exciting. And it's totally customizable. So you can use whatever tools you want. You can, unfortunately, I don't think Adobe runs on Linux, so you can't just like run Adobe Cloud in under your Nexus Creator Vault. But if you're tired of using Adobe Cloud and you want to use something else, you can use open source tools in your Nexus Creator Vault. But anyway, I'll stop that rant. So anyway, here we are again in our Nexus Creator Vault, and I just realized I kind of cut off the corner here, so you can't really see the start menu, but there's a little start menu button here. Hold on, maybe I shift my screen around a little. Here we go. All right, and now you can see the little corner start button. So these are all your applications. Anyway. So another cool feature of the Nexus Creator Vault is it has Ollama, which is an LLM running with Mistral already you can install Mistral. So basically the command that you run is you open up your command prompt, your console here, just like we did in Windows. We were using the Windows command prompt. You can use the terminal here, console here in your Linux desktop, in your Nexus Creator Vault, and we type the command Llama run Mistral. And if this is the first time you've done this, it's going to pull the package essentially of the Mistral like LLM model. So it's going to pull all the information. That usually doesn't take too long. Even on my like pretty slow machine over here, it didn't take terribly long, and it was able to do it. So anyway, so now essentially you have an AI in your Nexus Creator Vault. And I believe, I'm not sure, are you able to query the web? I was curious about this. Okay, so it doesn't have the ability to directly browse the web, but it has a really good knowledge base. I've used it actually for a fair amount of like little like coding tasks, just within the Nexus Creator Vault. So if you're doing something like, what if you're trying to like write some Python code? What is Python? Oops. Typing. What is Python? Let's see what it says. There you go. So it gives you it's got like a lot of like really helpful and amazing little snippets in here, especially if you're doing some codey things. It's a great little tool, and it's trainable. So you can also use Mistral, and you can essentially turn this into your own RAG. You can train it with all of your own company data or your own, if you're a creator or a streamer or whatever, you can ingest whatever information you want into this. If you're, a dev team and you have a wiki or whatever, you can ingest all of your information into your Llama here, and it will, you can then have it as your own RAG. So super cool. Amazing things happening here with the latest version of the Underground Nexus, which is CodeHaven. So super exciting. I think that's the main thing I wanted to show everyone tonight, was the dev version of the Underground Nexus and the cool little AI that lives inside here. Oh, the other cool thing about this AI that I wanted to mention is that it's totally private. So it's only running on your host machine. So it's basically like, we were showing this to one of our partners recently, and they were like, well, what are the token costs? And we were like, there are no token costs. That's the beauty of it, is it's like running on your host machine. So your token costs essentially are like the added, electricity to your bill, So I think that's also a really cool thing about it. You're not sending your proprietary company data to, some other company. It's all living inside your proprietary Underground Nexus on your host machine in your own Underground Nexus. And it's super private. So yeah, that's about it. I think that's the main things that I wanted to talk about tonight and show off with the Underground Nexus 2.0 CodeHaven. Again, this was the dev mode, which is a beautiful Nexus Creator Vault that we launched here with Llama AI built in. So you can create your own AI, train it, use it, and you have your own Underground Nexus Creator Suite in the Nexus Creator Vault. So yeah, next week, come back. Stay tuned. Follow me. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever it is that you're watching. Follow us on LinkedIn. Definitely come and check us out. Also, if you want to build your own Underground Nexus, go to CodeHaven, cloudunderground.dev/products/CodeHaven, or just find the link in the description of this video wherever it is that you're watching, and you can build your own Underground Nexus, and you can do it for free using the code JAMON2025. Next week, I'm going to show everyone the security mode of the DevSecOps trio of Underground Nexuses. And we're going to talk about virtual machines and how to launch a virtual machine alongside a container in the Underground Nexus. It's all very exciting stuff that we're doing here at Cloud Underground. Very cutting edge, very innovative. You know us. Can't stop, won't stop. We're always here. We're always doing cool, new, exciting things. So thanks for coming along on this journey with us. Thanks for joining me on this stream, everyone. And yeah, have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon.